afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacast. Me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, here of Sight, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to a 1 versus 1 on Kholodny Ferma versus in the East. It's Mr.Nobody fighting for America, freedom, democracy, the first armoured division. Versus in the West, it's Panzergrenadier Angreifen fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, rolling out here with the 112th Panzer Brigade, with German infantry versus mechanized. So both with mechanized doctrines essentially there. Double infantry Panzer for Angreifen, triple infantry for Mr.Nobody, into a double rifle start here, putting the best American foot forwards, versus Angreifen with his standard MG42 Grenadier start. Pioneers heading northwards, backed up by the MG42. Reaction sneaking ahead, more Grenadiers this, well, rallying, obviously not much else to say there for now. Heading southwards there, noting of course it is interesting Mr. Nobody's not going straight for the fuel point, but actually sort of moving more towards the centre, possibly anticipating Angreifen will try and gain control of this area. Then leaving the southern fuel point to be sort of slow there. Angreifen needs to secure the compartment to that way avoid Mr. Nobody for some rushing it and that way locking it down. So both players are essentially anticipating certain moves from their opponents and trying to move, make counter moves to cut those off. Mr. Nobody here going for an early dodge truck. We'll have to see what that ends up with. Will Angreifen himself then go for a 250-1 half track here? We'll have to see. And default to make to the church before the echelons, denying the position to them. Though they might need some support there. Single leader squad done. Dart truck out here for Mr. Nobody. For America, freedom, democracy. Securing the southern point here with the rifleman. Fuel point there is finally being seized. Somebody up north here, but noting that both players are actually not rushing for the fuel points. But there you go. Reason's finally routed here by Angreifen's efforts. Dart truck there with the rifle in it. It's going to be not too difficult for them to deal with, I think, to a degree, and that isn't, of course, just keeps trying about. There we go, taking some fire there. Grenadier quick panther fast here, in which case Mr. Nobody's Dart truck adventures could hit a bit of a snag there. And there we go. Already taking quite a bit down from the MG42, in fact, almost down to half health on that Dart truck here. But of course, northwards, he could have set up the Pioneers and, more importantly, destroy the barbed wire. I'm going to spend so much time laying down, the cheeky devil. Up here, take up mortar on the way there for Mr. Nobody, and that's an interesting choice here. Actually a good one, though, of course, considering how his opponent has an MG42, plus mortar use in general is good thing to have when you're attacking or defending. So reasonably good choice, I think, for Mr. Nobody. Definitely not a usual choice from a mechanized player. In 2 vs 2 games, they might go for like a mortar half track, which is also part of the doctrine. And of course, not quite as available, but mostly just relying on the infantry. So I think Mr. Nobody going for a mortar, he's definitely making things interesting, and I think also possibly very good move. Popping out the crew here since he likely can't get the dodge truck anyways out there safely, so just expect us be blown up, and these can then use the vehicle crew as sort of extra infantry versus Angreifen going straight for the house here, occupying a blocking position. That's going to make it hard for Angreifen to do about safely. Though of course his men are a bit surrounded, and there's an MG42 still covering the retreat path here, so things could backfire, but still Mr. Nobody keeps up the attack here against Angreifen, hoping to disrupt him and throw him onto the defensive here. Rifle to fight from the side there. Ambulance on the way, mortar's going to up to begin bombarding the machine gun. He also laid on the smoke screen on the church, which would maybe cause him to think an assault is coming and I'll render the machine gun useless, but certainly mortar's going to do the trick. So there you go, already got 1 kill, machine gun crew down to half health already. Mortar's definitely proving its worth here already, so nice work there by Mr. Nobody. Still, Mr. Nobody's a bit short on infantry. He's likely going to rely at least somewhat on take up here to provide him either the captain and lieutenant as an extra infantry squad, and there's also the possibility he might aim for some cavalry riflemen as well. Reassurance heading northwards. Certainly some intense engagements here between Angreifen and Mr. Nobody already going on here in the early game. Ambulance out to provide support for him as well. Mortar for otherwise hanging back. Still has, I think, proven itself already valuable here in the opening moments of the game, and we got the platoon command post up for Mr. Nobody, setting out for that. Mortar on the way for Angreifen, likely to counter his opponent's mortar, but can of course also provide valuable fire support for those in infantry, either in the attack or the defense. A mortar is generally a very good tool to have. Our way mortar still hanging back here for now in the south. Angreifen's going to sneak in. He's not making a direct push for the fuel point. He's going to try and secure the points up to it. Otherwise, if he's just going to ignore the munitions, gone straight for the fuel point. And that way, put some pressure on Mr. Nobody maybe. Machine gun setting up here a bit further away. No take up yet for Angreifen. That could be an advantage there to Mr. Nobody once he gets the lieutenant out, and maybe some tanks of the lighter kind. Rifling northwards, victory points wise, we got a minuscule, microscopic lead there for Angreifen. For now anyways, though it is slightly widening. Troops are reinforcing, Lieutenant almost done. Angreifen still not taking up. Certainly starting to look less and less. He might be aiming here for the 250 half track at all, otherwise I think it'd be a lot faster to take up, so we could that way rush out the 250 half track versus opponent, but it seemed like it's not interesting. And we got cavalry riflemen out there for Mr. Nobody. Ready to gun down some crowds, some Nazis. Vehicle crew moving straight to the line for how the Grenadiers are getting focused down. They're not the good engagement over there for Mr. Nobody. Honestly, should retreat them before they get wiped. Bit short munitions are here for the Thompsons, but of course that's not exactly a huge rush, though of course they benefit a lot from it. Smoke's in here on the church. Machine gun opening up here on the echelons, and we got stormtroopers out here for Angreifen. I'm imagining to, well, actually, might try in our way. Stormtroopers around here for Angreifen, giving him some more aggressive assault infantry versus his opponent. I mean, both essentially have called in at least one assault squad here with submachine guns. At least this one's gonna get submachine guns. This one has yet to get them. Well, that already has them. We can get bigger ones, kinda. There we go. Thompson on the way for the cavalry riflemen, increasing their firepower a bit, grabbing the northern victory point with the mortar. Very good work there. Angreifen maintaining a small lead in victory points on Mr. Nobody here. Noting still no take out for Angreifen. A bold strategy there. Very bold. Stormtroopers heading southwards. Pioneers fighting in the centre. Flamethrowers loyal to help deal with the rifle inside the church. And of course open up a path to the mortar. At the same time, mortars moving north in from the north to defend. And more likely provide support and fire for the troops in the centre. Troops still reinforcing. Still no attack up. I wonder what Angreifen is planning here. Could it be a tier 3 rush? It's possible, and certainly with the Stormtroopers you do then have option of equivalent with Panzer Strikes as well, so they can be used. And that sort of, shall we say, strategy. There we go. Getting here, I think you should have tried to have them hold fire and try to draw in the cavalry rifle a bit further. But that didn't quite work out there. Getting shot to bits here by the cavalry rifle, taking quite a bit of damage, but there shouldn't be a wipe here, though he might suffer some minor casualties. Pioneers here versus the mortar. Up north, big push as well with the vehicle crew and the riflemen. Mr. Nobody here looking to find the weak spots in Angreifen's defences and exploit them aggressively. Certainly the way to do it. Back here, nothing further going on for Mr. Nobody. Going for the calf point, very nice work. Grenadiers are trying to engage the cavalry rifle. We got at least one veteran squad lead upgrade there for Angreifen and the 112th Panzer Brigade. Still not take off Angreifen. Still no take off. I'm rather surprised at that development. Stormtroopers good to go there for Angreifen. Cavalry rifleman routing machine gun, a nice push there by Mr. Nobody. Stood light taking away to back him up. The Vanguard is definitely intending not to go for that tier 2. He's going to need to equip him with Panzer Strikes. In fact, he may need more than one Stormtrooper squad for that exact purpose. But he really should consider setting up soon. There we go. Finally got that take-up going on there for Angreifen. And, you know, with the Panzer Strike plan, I think he's going to end up having to go for the tech anyways and go for that Pack 40. Otherwise, that still could prove to be a bit more of a handful than he can manage. We'll see, we'll see. I could be proven wrong here. Stormtroopers heading northwards, engaging the riflemen. Veterans 3 kills. Grenadiers retreating from the south, seizing the southern victory point. Fuel cache out there, so that definitely reeks of some sort of long-term strategy here. Then also a strategy I think that involves more late-game stuff. So he could be likely planning a tier 3 rush there, and likely also planning to use tier 4 here. Tactical advance here. Not a bad idea, but I think the way he used it again, that is in light cover versus unit heavy cover at some distance there is not good. Usually want to use it against opponents, either you're flanking when they've got no cover, or at least you got a cover advantage over, rather than he didn't really do a lot for them. At least I guess he tried to use the ability, but that's not the most effective use of it, I would argue. Stuart blasting away there. In the centre, Mr. Nobody strikes like a tempest. Stormtroopers gain the northern point there. Victory points wise, Angreifen still has a nice lead here with Mr. Nobody, who certainly needs to catch up a bit there. Centre wise, we've got Grenadiers moving up, stood engaging. Fifth cavalry on the way there for Mr. Nobody. Angreifen is, well, I'm not entirely sure what Angreifen is planning here, but so far he's not too threatened here by the Stuart light tank from Mr. Nobody. Stormtroopers riding, we get a big submachine gun force in from Mr. Nobody. In the south, Pioneers moving up with their Flammenwerfer. There you go, incendiary armor piercing rounds, plus the threat of the Panzerfaust forces back. Mr. Nobody Stuart here from the centre, but up north, Cutoff Point is being harassed there by Mr. Nobody. Nice push there. And we got a tier 3 rush here from Angreifen. Again, a bold strategy, but certainly seems to have at least somewhat planned out there, which is good. Stormtroopers going to get reinforcement. Grenadiers as well needs to launch a counterattack to reclaim its resources here, because otherwise his tier 3 rush strategy is going to fall apart very fast. Like the Italian invasion of Greece, or North Africa. The Italian invasion, really. Grenadiers versus the Lieutenant. Veteran Grenadiers there backing up the non-veteran squad leader Grenadiers here. Take up almost stunning and then get the Sapoma Cop and rush out something there. In this case, an Austrian could be an idea, but most likely I want to go for the Panther 4. The overall issue with the Austrian is, in theory, it has decent AoE and all that, but the problem is it has terrible accuracy, so it just ends up being way too inconsistent, I think, for most players. And like, if you get two of them, it can sort of, you know, somewhat counter out the consistency issues, but it still ends up feeling very inconsistent. Cavalry rifle there, blasting away. Take up done. Inch enough force of ruin the Pioneers, so you can't actually get it up right away. We got close to the Stormtroopers inside the house, getting in a Panther here to deal with the Stuart light tank. He might want to get another machine gun to help deal with Mr. Nobody's infantry, because so far he's using it quite actively and aggressively, in which case having another machine gun to curtail Mr. Nobody's movements would be a very good idea to find out. Nice Stormtroopers there, about to have the Panther ready, but the house is about to collapse as well. The facade is already crumbling in, like a poorly stacked sandwich. There you go, appearing there with the Panther landing nice hit on the Stuart light tank, but also very low in health, so the Stormtroopers really don't have much chance of surviving much more. Do we finally get that Sapoma Cop yet here for Angreifen? We do not. He's getting more Pioneers, so not a bad idea, so at least that would keep one squad on the field and get no one to build up. Got the Grenadiers moving ahead. More veteran squad-lead upgrades. Rifle routed here. Cat bouncing ahead and jumping out on the computer cabinet. The cheeky little fluffy bastard. Yeah, just gotta manage him so he doesn't cause too much of a fuzz. The fuzzy fuzzball. Yeah, so my apologies about that. The little Basil. He's a precocious kitten, but he can be a bit of a pain at the times. Stood laying up here. Some of these was the echelons. So there you go. He is contained now. And content. Occurring points, here's occurring points there. Stormtroopers running out. Sapoma Cop going out there for Angreifen. He'll be able to push out for a Panther pretty soon. That's going to be a good chance of pushing back against Mr. Nobody, who has gone for Lieutenant and the Captain. Interesting choice there. That should give Angreifen a... Well, of course he's got anti-tank plus some bazookas, but still I think the Panther Force is giving him a bit of a headache there. Plus the Captain with blast, and of course all the rifle with blast. There's a lot of anti-infantry firepower. But again, he's going to be a bit short there against the Panther Force, so he may not quite have a full read here on Angreifen's strategy, or he just doesn't care, which is also a possibility. Going here for the cutoff point. Panzer IV is almost ready to be called in. He's got the fuel, he just needs the manpower. Panzerfaust and Panzerjäger Stormtroopers on the way here for a hunt for the Stuart light tank. Though they will have to retreat here, just not enough men and too little health here to fight against it. I think... Oh, he's going to try it, he's going to try and risk it, but he's going to have to retreat, and he could end up losing the Stormtroopers and the Panther. Worst case scenario is actually dropping the Panther for Mr. Nobody to use. In which case that'd be his own damn fault. From these is the cavalry rifle machine gun opening up here, close to veteran 2, very good. Panther 4 is available to call in now, and should be called in as soon as he can. Rifle on Lieutenant, fuel cache is about to go down. There we go, Lieutenant almost right here by the Grenadiers, and in fact he falls in service of America. Democracy. No Panzer 4 still. Apparently prioritizing forcing all of his troops. I do think getting that Panzer IV out should be a priority a bit over that. So that one can save him a lot on manpower in the longer run. Come on, get that Panzer IV, Angreifen. Stuart's back in action here for Mr.Nobody. He is finally taken up as well there for the battalion command post, and he's going to go on for all 3 command posts. A bold strategy there for Mr.Nobody, but also one that gives him a lot of choices in the longer game versus Angreifen. So not necessarily a bad choice. Fuel catch is about to go down here. Still not calling in that Panzer IV. You'd figure, considering his strategy can sort of focus around it, he would go for it as soon as possible. And that does tend to be a flaw, I think, with some players that go for rush strategies. Like, they can sort of do part of the rush part sort of decently, but then they'll sort of just not get the unit as fast as possible, and then like get all the setup done, and then just, you know, they'll just have the resource falling about there for several minutes, meaning they don't actually get to rush it out, utterly undercutting their strategy anyway. So seems a bit that would happen to Angreifen. He's all rushed out with nowhere to go. But he really needs to get going because at this rate, despite having executed tier 3 rush strategy, he's going to have a tank out slower than Mr.Nobody, who went for every, you know, tier in between. Which is going to be a bit embarrassing now for Angreifen. Come on, man, get that Panzer IV. There we go. But that was definitely, you know, too slow. I mean, he could at least set out that gun construction on that one, I'd say roughly 2 minutes ago minimum. At which point it probably ought to be out by now, so. A bit of thumbs down there. Machine gun defending the fuel point as much as possible. Of course, the car point being hit, that's not going to matter too much in the longer run, unless you can push them all away. Back here, troop sealing reinforcing. Machine's being flanked here nicely by Mr.Nobody's captain. Pearson's routed. Stuart moving up here, Veteran T2. Heading southwards as well, trying to avoid some of the main efforts. Zone efforts there from Mr.Nobody, very good. Still, Panzer IV is just about to hit, and that's going to give Mr.Nobody a bit of a rougher time, though he can quickly follow up with a 76mm Sherman, which in their hand is going to give Angreifen's Panzer IV a bit of a hard time. Mortar fire raining down. Panzer IV on the way there for Angreifen, for the 112th Panzer Brigade. Troops reinforcing. No pintle mounted machine gun for the Panzer IV yet, doesn't have the munitions. Mr.Nobody getting out into a tank gun. Captain routed. Major routed. A major retreat from Mr.Nobody. In the centre, Stormtroopers in there routing a few support weapons. Very good. We can see there Mr.Nobody once more striking as close as possible to Angreifen's base to cause some discomfort, and most likely also trying to force his attention away from elsewhere on the map. But there you go, Panzer IV machine, they're getting flanked still. Not flanked hard enough. Stormtrooper Veteran 2-3 kills are holding out. But that Panzer IV is definitely proving to be a bit of a problem there for Mr.Nobody, who lacks any serious counter-term. He's got the anti-tank gun out now, so of course in the right position it could give Angreifen's Panzer IV a bit of an uncomfortable time. Anti-tank, oh, set up in the wrong angle. Heavy damage to the Stuart light tank. It's going to try and stun the Panzer IV, but could go down here to the Stormtroopers. They get up another shot. Oh, anti-tanks had to charge on the Panzer IV machine, also about to get wiped out. This is pretty bad. Anti-tank. Oh, it's still not moving. He's trying to do much here, and he still hasn't moved it. Oh, snap. The anti-Panzer IV might just survive this. Bit of a missed opportunity to Mr.Nobody. I think tried to do a bit too much there, and couldn't quite get it to work. Anti-tank instead shamefully withdraws. In shame. It is no longer the anti-tank gun, it is the shame gun of shame. A machine gun fire there, raking down the rifles, forcing their faces into the dirt. Victory points wise, Angreifen now control of all 3 points. It should be back to bleeding out Mr.Nobody as fast as possible. Moving up through the centre, Mr.Nobody boldly goes with his rifle straight to the Panzer IV. Pioneers nearby to back up as well. Not far off from another Panzer IV here for Angreifen. We got the anti-tank gun, and the Panzer IV is going to force that back. And we got tier 4 instead here for Angreifen. So he goes from a Panzer IV into tier 4. His strategy is definitely interesting. Essentially a tier 4 rush that again slightly You need to work on the rush part. And then straight into tier 4 it seems. So definitely not your usual meta there, much strategy there. There you go, 76 months showing out there from Mr.Nobody. And Basil's on the move again. Right now in front of the microphone, so I may sound a bit muffled. But there you go. Sherman the 50 caliber machine gun. So I'm making he'll building up this heavy panzer course from enough stormtroopers in need reinforcement. They're very close to the ace level. There we go. Sherman engages the Panzer IV, gets a nice penetrating hit there on Angreifen's Panzerkampfwagen, which then bounces. Second shot from Sherman, then bounces off the Panzer IV's armour. Fighting for the northern half of the map here with Stuart ready in reserve to counter any attempt by Angreifen to force them away. Sherman engaging the centre with 5th Cavalry Sports Welcome is trying to move in. Could clear out maybe the 5th Cavalry machine they're forced it up. Looks like that's going to happen in fact. Stuart moved down here to assist in the centre. Bit of risky push here by Angreifen without any serious anti-tank support for the Grenadiers. They are easily targeted for the Sherman and the Stuart, but there you go. Wipe the 50 caliber. Can he get to it? Can he secure it? No, most likely the answer to that is no, as Mr.Nobody of course will focus on any infantry that isn't his, trying to close in on the 50 caliber machine gun. Panzer IV is good to go. Heavy Panzer go out there. His priority I think in this situation should be a Panther first to help deal with the 76mm Sherman. Then this close being wound up with the Stuart. Bet he's 3 Stuart there. Ace, light tank. Panzer IV got some good damage in. Blitzing here is going to try and take out the Super and escape. Can he do it? And he gets the Stuart. Close to bet on that Panzer IV. Nice work there by Angreifen. Punishing Mr.Nobody there for overstanding his light tank versus Angreifen in the hopes of getting a wipe. Storms will then land a nice hit from their Panzer Shrek on the Sherman. Not far off from the Panther. Up north, fuel point's about to get hit here by Mr.Nobody again. Very good. Mr.Nobody also maintaining good map control here versus Angreifen. Certainly an area where Angreifen is right now struggling a bit versus his opponent.
A capture point is being overrun.
Cavalry Rifle assaulting the Stormtroopers, pushing them back. Panzer IV almost good to go here. And there you go, Cavalry Rifle out in the open, easy target for the Panzer IV, and it gains 32 shots and added. Mortar fire raining down. Big push for the Grenadiers for the centre, pushing the Rifleman back, and over here healing reinforcement again. Angreifen I think needs to move away from the centre right now. He's too over-focused on it, and that also means that Mr.Nobody's going to focus most of his defences there. So he should rather, I think, focus on securing other parts of the map and outmaneuvering Mr.Nobody. That way, having a better chance of murdering his staff. Rifleman routed, Panther IV there, Veteran C2 still, 8 kills. Sherman engaging, Panther forming into engagement with Chan, misses. Sherman misses as well. There you go, penetrating from the Panther IV, Sherman the returns of heavy on the Panther IV. Another hit there, Panther IV misses. Panther IV taking heavy hits here from anti-tank weapons nearby, about to go down. Blitzing, oh, and went down to the Sherman here, too slow to escape for Angreifen. Punished. Quite definitely there by Mr.Nobody. Quite a bit of manpower being furthered, but he's also got other resources. I think at this stage, safe to say, saving up for the Panther here, since that's going to help a lot more versus the Shermans. Plus, he's got no other real anti-tanks. He kind of has to go for the Panther here. He risks getting annihilated, so he goes for the Sturm Panzer IV. Of course, versus 2 Shermans, including one which is 2, that is the 76mm version, the Panther is going to find himself not having the easiest of times either. Falling back from the south here, Angreifen is regaining map control versus Mr.Nobody and the 1st Armoured Division. Very close to the Panther, a few more minutes to go, and the 2nd 76mm Sherman tank that moves out. Rifling over against the mortar, hoping to get a wipe, then not quite landing it. Veteran 3, 17 kills on those. Very good, very good. Very close to the Panther now. Not far off at all. You could actually consider another fuel cache, maybe speed up the production of a second Panther. I mean, if we get 2 Panthers out this and Mr.Nobody, I would say Angreifen have a very good chance of winning this. Unless he does something very wrong and Mr.Nobody does something very right. Stormtroopers under fire here. Cover being shattered by the Sherman's 76mm gun. And there you go, Panther on the way for Angreifen, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Getting some damage done there with the Raketenpanzerbüchse. Oh dear, mortar got wiped. Looks like it wasn't the first time it got wiped there for Angreifen, leaving him a bit sad there, I imagine. Sherman on the move. Nasty in the Stormtroopers. Could be a wipe here. Might be quite uncomfortable here for Angreifen. A Stormtrooper with a Panzer ship would be quite expensive. They don't manage it. Still, the situation for Angreifen is looking pretty weak here. So Nobody's in a good controlling situation. Panther's almost done here for Angreifen though. Almost done. And there you go. Panzerkampfwagen 5 gefechtsbereit here for Angreifen for the 112th Panzer Brigade. Rifling it off there makes a good splash on the rifleman. Still, he's going to eat that Panther versus those Shermans, and he's going to have to play it very carefully. But there you go, nice penetrating hit here. Pushing south, it's very good. Of course, you should be careful not to push the Panther ahead without any infantry support, that could quickly get out there. And there you go. Sherman Gates head on by the Panther. Panther so far bouncing shots. Of course, that could quickly change. Obviously, yep, we got the HVAC rounds up here to deal with the Panther. I think that's a good move there by Mr.Nobody. So it increases the chance of penetrating the Panther, which is definitely what he wants. But there you go, flanked here by the Panther. Nice hit, could take the Sherman out with another shot. That would be huge here for Angreifen. Mr.Nobody there trying to win the other Sherman. There goes motion down. Can he get it off? Oh, main gun out. Still the Sherman's alive. Other Sherman flanking the Panther. But gets Panzerfausted. So now Angreifen, I think, has a good chance to finish off at least one Sherman. Of course, not the almost ace Sherman. So that is at least a decent trait there for Angreifen. Decent kill. Oh, no. Does not go for it. Bazooka Team Pandy scares him off. And there you go. The Stormtroopers end up getting the job done. Still, Veterans wanting the Panther already. Pioneers routed. Need to get those Stormtroopers out in the field to murder some Yankees and maybe consider calling in some more, in particular with the Manpires floating, or some Panzer Grenadiers. In particular, again, with the tactical support package, I would argue they are pretty good.
A capture point is under attack.
Captain taking minor losses.
Reports show the Krauts are at 200 points.
Back here, troops in reinforcing. Panther in need of repairs rather aggressively. Angreifen keeping the assault. He's fighting quite a bit of manpower. I mean, he could consider more fuel caches to offset some of the harassment that Mr.Nobody's got going against him. Or just call in more infantry or support weapons. Another machine gun, I think, could do a lot here. Machine gun bangers could also be an idea, but there you go. Ace machine gun crew there, tearing apart the cavalry rifleman. Major calling this motion, but a bit too late there. Gunlee's being pushed back. Stormtroopers almost wiped as well here. And another Sherman there for Mr.Nobody. He knows where the party's at. Oh, Grenadiers wiped quite low there for Angreifen. Veteran 3, Veteran Squad leader Grenadiers annihilated here as all of a sudden Mr.Nobody's got grenades upgrades. And Angreifen responds by going for not just one, but 2 Grenadier squads. Adding a lot more infantry to the field, of course, stopping to floating manpower anymore, which is good though. Again, I think 2 Panzer Grenadier squads honestly would have been better at this stage. Or more Stormtroopers. Of course, that is just my opinion. But there you go, lots of Grenadiers out. Panther's good to go as well there for Angreifen for the German army. Deutsche Panzerwaffe. Sherman getting the center to be careful. We got the Panther moving up. Shoots, misses here. Fortunate for Angreifen. Great there for Mr.Nobody. Shot so far missing the Panther. Somehow he's dodging every shot fired at here by Mr.Nobody Sherman and anti-tank guns. Up north, the resistance being pushed back up by the Grenadiers and the Pioneers. MD-42 and direct reinforcements. Got that Sherman hanging northwards, close to the ace level. Ready to give the Germans something to really be upset about. Though he has forgotten to switch back to the regular rounds, so the HQ rounds are less effective versus the infantry. So, not the most effective use of the Sherman versus the infantry at the moment. Quite good for Angreifen's infantry, again, it, you know, overall makes them a lot less vulnerable here to the Sherman. Grenade there, pushing the rifle just a bit back. Panther could do with the machine gun being added. Got that Sherman zipping in. Panther should get going, I think, soon here for Angreifen. Ooh, mortar landing the Grenadiers. Was it a grenade? Oh wait, they took some damage. Panther back on the warpath for the fatherland. Up north, Sherman continues to hope to hit something, but is so far not achieving the most amazing rate of success against the infantry. Ooh, Panther misses the Sherman already down to half health. What will Angreifen go for next? Another Panther for a Stug to back up the Panther versus the armor. That would not be a bad idea, I think. Panther misses again. Oh dear. Machine gun, the ace one, is about to get wiped out. Stormtroopers up. Oh, that was one hell of a hit there from the Sherman. Almost took out the entire Stormtrooper squad in a single hit. Need to retreat them now. On the other hand, the Panthers are now super close to actually 2 added Schutzen. Here Grenadiers pushing back the captain, almost getting a wipe there on Mr.Nobody, who's going for another Sherman. Certainly getting as many 76mm Shermans is a good idea there to the Americans. Full mortar cord here with the rifleman. Grenadiers flanking up here, 29 kills, very good. Clearing out the anti-tank as well, very nice. But that mortar is dying a lot here for Angreifen, an awful lot. Sherman halfway down, resistance pinned down to the ground like insects. Ooh, grenade here on the retreat path. Not quite well timed enough there from Mr.Nobody, but say a nice attempt. Meanwhile, Mr.Nobody's holding the centre, he's holding the north. Victory points wise, has also now got a nice lead of Angreifen, who needs to do something a bit more extraordinary, I think, to have a good chance to push back Mr.Nobody and win this. Panther's still upgraded the machine gun. Really would benefit a lot from that versus the infantry. Sherman sitting out. And we got a Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausführung here for Angreifen. To deal with all the armour here that Mr.Nobody's churning out. And to provide the Panther with some sort of backup firepower, which is a good idea. Panther misses the Sherman there. And a tiny bit of an issue, we got the MD-42 coming up on that one, though with the 5th gun on the other hand, could turn up, but there you go. MD-42 clears up the anti-tank and swiftly. Panther getting back to 2 Sherman there, taking hits. Stug halfway down, another hit here for the Panther. Sherman down to half health. Machine gun needs to retreat. Now be a waste here for Angreifen to throw away an ace machine gun crew at this stage. And there you go, getting flanked by the Sherman. Nice counter-attack here by Mr.Nobody trying to catch the Panther off guard. There could also be a Sherman from the north to further apply pressure there. Oh, and the ace machine gun got wiped. That's an absolute waste here by Angreifen. Absolute waste. Sturmgeschütz though. Arriving here to back things up. Panther versus the Sherman. Nice hit there. Panther moving in. Shot bounced. Nice hit there as well. Halfway to the ace level. Some of these moving in. Stug opening up as well. Still no pin-on machine being added on either of the two. And there goes Sherman from 40. And a bit risky there from Mr.Nobody. Their first leading Sherman, which is already low on health, could get taken out here by Angreifen. So we got Artillery Kholodny to try and break up things here. Rifling it off on the echelons. And there goes Sherman down. And then these almost got wiped out there. Mr.Nobody's artillery strike. 188 versus 248. Need to pull back those Sturmgeschütz. Stormtroops moving in. Back here, troops healing, reinforcing for Angreifen. And we got a Sherman in from the north, going to try and flank it past Angreifen's front line. And there you go, the ace Sherman is on the move. There you go, Stug is in a lot of trouble. There's an ace Sherman crew there outmaneuvering it. A very nice deep flank there, Mr.Nobody. 2 thumbs up, completely blindsiding Angreifen. He can't pack it up with the Panther now. This got a damaged engine. He's playing around here by with Angreifen. Panther shoots, misses, but the Sherman gets his Stug and then drives off and absolutely downrate. The Pioneers almost taken out with a grenade there. That would be a brutal blow there to Angreifen's already lost a Stug and is about to lose his Panther as well. Stormtroopers also finally fall in service of Das Vaterland. True heroes. But dropping the Panther strike there could be a bit of a problem there for Angreifen. He cannot recover that Panther strike, and he thankfully for himself does. So of course, Mr.Nobody imagine would love to nap that one. Panther being rolled forward to the battlefield. He's provided some support for his troops. There we go, lands a nice hit on the ace, which also gives us a nice little bit of experience, as it is getting ever closer to the ace level itself, and of course increased accuracy, well not accuracy, but rate of fire and speed. So he almost lost it there to the anti-tank gun, which would have been quite disastrous for Angreifen. Pioneers had to work there to fix up the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Finding in the south here, cavalry rifle holding off a lot of forces, but there you go, routed by machine number of Grenadiers Angreifen deployed to the south.
A capture point is under attack.
Fixing up that Panther. Close to the ace level. Riflemen are reinforcing and others moving out. Machine gun there still standing about here. We'll have to see what Angreifen goes for next. It's a bit hard to say, though. Part of me would guess he could aim with them, or aim for a Panther toward the back of his Panther. He could also just go for more Stugs. Or he could try and set fire the Sturmpanzer or another Panther. Certainly, with the Shermans here that Mr.Nobody's got driving around rings with them, driving around corners, could be good. The idea to have a second Panther just to put those in the spot more trouble. We'll have to see what it ends up with. The fuel point north being harassed here by Mr.Nobody again, keeping up the pressure, keeping up momentum. Very good play there. They should remember to switch over to the regular rounds for the Shermans here. At least it's got for the Ace, but the other one's not quite having that benefit. And there you go, Grenadiers being slaughtered by the Sherman tanks. Well, the Ace. The other one is not quite as successful. Panther Marine engaging the Sherman head on. Very close to the ace level here. Penetrating hit there. Now the penetrating hit. Panther is very low on health, but is also very close to the ace level. There we go. Ace Panther up for Angreifen for the 112th Panzer Brigade. Entertaining their bit from there. Go Ace Panther lands a nice hit there on the Sherman tank, pushing it down to half health. We got rifling up in the rear. Could anti-tank rifle the Panther, leaving Angreifen in a very sticky spot. He does not want to be in. There we go. Damaged engine on the Ace Panther. It's isolated. And it's got a damaged engine. Thankfully, most of Mr.Nobody's tanks can't immediately respond to this, but this is a pretty bad situation there for Angreifen. Pretty bad. Cavalry rifle there gunning down as many gems as they can, while the gems, of course, trying to return the favour. Stug on the way there. Oh, careful about breaking the hedges there. And there you go. Cavalry rifle gunning up and trying to pop up an anti-tank side to charge a thing on the Panther. Finally opening up with machine guns, but an imperial line machine would have helped a bunch. And there you go. Anti-tank satchel charge. Cost him the rifle squad. But he got the Panther, and that's really bad there for Vanguard. This Ace Panzerkampfwagen 5 is kaput. He's lost most of the map, and Nobody's now got larger forces for the most part, and certainly more combined arms going on for him at the moment. So yeah, not a good element here for Angreifen. His troops are being cut to ribbons here. This honestly looks like GG. I mean, Mr.Nobody comparatively has 3 Sherman tanks. Angreifen's got a Stug, which, however mighty, is a bit lacking against 3 Sherman tanks, including 1, Ace. And his infantry complement is also encountering severe resistance. Ace multiplier there for Mr.Nobody, very nice. Strugi's going for the ace, there you go, Panzerfaust off, but not having much of an impact for now. Then one opening up, nice hit there. 49 points left here for Angreifen. Tree stuck in the Stug. The physics engine. And there you go, GG, game over, loss here for Angreifen. An interesting tier 3 rush strategy, but as you might have noticed, did kind of like the rush part. Had he, I think, been a bit faster with the Panzer, we would have probably had a better chance to this Mr.Nobody. But on the other hand, the 76mm Sherms was just a really strong choice against this. And the argument could have been just gone for more Stugs faster and then maybe gone for the Panther. At least you tried to stick harder to the Panther. Also, I think more flanking and some Panzer grenades would have done well there for Angreifen. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match though. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't tell your enemies. And if you like what I do, you can donate or pledge on the Patreon. And links are in the video description. Every little bit helps me keeping making videos day after day. So do consider it. This is Imperial Lynching. Cheers. Thank you for watching. You all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye.